Okay, we are making low carb apple cinnamon donuts, and we're starting off with the dry ingredients, 1 cup of almond flour in a bowl. And then we're going to do some baking powder, and that's 2 teaspoons of baking powder, half a teaspoon of xanthan gum. We're going to do a 1/4 cup of granular sweetener, or you can use powdered sweetener if you want, but I like using granular here. A half a tablespoon of cinnamon, and then we're just going to whisk that together just to combine all the dry ingredients. And then we're going to add the wet ingredients to the same bowl. I know most people like to do the dry ingredients in one bowl and then mix the wet ingredients in another and then combine them. I'm a bit of a risk taker. I like doing it all in one bowl. I've done this many times, so I know it still works and it comes out fine for me, so I'm not gonna worry about using a whole bunch of different bowls. And then we're gonna add 4 large eggs. I've already whisked this in this bowl and I'm adding it here. And we're going to also add a 1/4 cup of melted butter that's been cooled. Just make sure that melted butter has cooled. There's the melted butter. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So now that you have all that in there, we're gonna add the shredded apple. I'm just using 1 shredded apple for this recipe because I don't want it to be high in sugar, and 1 apple divided by 6 donuts. So it's not a lot of sugar in here, so it's still low carb. You can see the nutrition on the blog, on the website, under the recipe card, if you want to see it. So I'm just mixing that. So it does look liquidy, but just keep mixing it and it'll get a lot thicker. And don't forget, we still have to add the shredded apple. Okay, let's add the apple. So this is 1 apple shredded. It already started turning brown, which I don't mind that color, but I just shredded it like 5 minutes ago and it turned brown really quickly. I probably could have added some lemon juice to it to keep it the same color, but it doesn't matter. It's going in the donuts, so we're not going to really notice the color. So you just want to mix in that apple. Make sure it gets in everywhere. You don't want one donut with all apple and then the others without any. And then we're going to pipe this into a 6 donut pan that's been really well greased. I like to grease mine with coconut oil. You can use butter, baking spray, whatever you prefer. Just make sure your donut pan is already non-stick, and then you want to make sure you grease it really well. Otherwise it will stick and you'll have a hard time getting them out. So make sure you really grease that donut pan. Okay, so we're gonna put this in a piping bag and then pipe it into the donut pan. So all you need to do is put the batter in a piping bag. You can use a Ziploc bag if you don't have a piping bag. And then pipe it into the donut pan. So I like to fill this up as much as I can, get the air out, and then usually I can spin around each donut 4 times. Let's try and do this without making a mess, but to be honest, I usually make a mess. Oh, yeah, so there it is. And we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. Let's do 3 times. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now with the extra batter, if you see any ones that are a little less batter in them, you can top them off. And that one's good, maybe this one. We're going to flatten them out with our fingers in a minute. Well, there's some apple there. Okay, now just use some water and dab your finger in it just to flatten the donuts. And we're going in the oven at 350 for 16 to 18 minutes.